What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I have the new Frozen Kiss palette from Gourmande Girls, and y'all, this one is so stunning. First of all, the cover art is beautiful. It comes to us from none other than Doodles by the Bunny, and I just love Angela. She is incredibly talented, and I love it when she does the artwork for Gourmande Girls. But this color story, y'all, it's so beautiful. It is giving me like magical winter vibes. I'm loving the more muted pastels in here. We've got lots of depth, and the shimmers in this palette, stunning, absolutely beautiful. I've really been enjoying playing with this palette. I have already created 2 looks, and we are going to create a third one here together today. The other look will go up as a short very soon on my channel, but this palette does launch on Friday, December the 6th. As of now when I'm filming, I don't know the rest of the details. I'm sure I've already popped them up on the screen, and of course they will be down in the description box as well. I do have a code with Gourmande Girls. It is Sarah. That will save you 10% off of the entire site. I will have this palette as well as everything else that I use in today's video linked and listed down below in that description box. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and jump into our first look. Alright, also my eyes are primed with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and for the first look, I think I want to do a really monochromatic purple look. I know that's not fun and exciting, but I love a purple look, so I'm going to go ahead and start there. And I think I'm going to start with this really pretty lavender shade over here, and then just kind of work my way through the purples. Now that shade is called Winter Romance, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Morphe M504 brush, and I'm going to fluff this all into my crease. I'm also going to bring it into my inner corner as well. I think I might leave the inner corner matte for this look, but we'll see what happens when we get there. That is such a pretty pastel purple. It is nice and light, but it's still pigmented at the same time. It's building up beautifully. I'm not having any issues with the performance of this, and like I said, we're going to wrap it around into the inner corner, and I think I'm going to wrap it around the lower lash line as well. We're just going to wrap it around the whole eye. That's really pretty. I think next I want to go into this true purple shade over here, which is called Cold Snap, and I'm going to put that on the outer corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this up with a BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm going to start by kind of pressing this right here in my outer corner and building up a little bit of depth out here. That's really pretty. I love a good purple like this. I'm going to kind of wing it out just a little bit, blend it into that shade that's in my crease, and then bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. And I'm just going to kind of bring it about as far over as I did on my lid, just kind of lining everything up. That is so beautiful. I'm not getting any patching, skipping, fallout, no issues. These shades are performing beautifully, exactly like I expect. Alright, so I'm going to go back with a little bit of that lavender shade on the same brush. I'm just going to go right along the edge of this purple shade I put down, just kind of softening that edge and making sure that everything blends nice and seamlessly. And then we'll move on by adding a little bit more depth in this outer corner. Alright, to deepen up the outer corner, I'm going to go in with a little bit of this brown shade down here, which is called Solstice. It's a really pretty deep brown shade, like it's almost a blackened brown. And I'm just going to pick that up with my Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just going to tap this right here in the very outer corner, just building up the tiniest bit of depth, and I am going to bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of keeping it right here on the very outer corner. I don't want this shade to get too far away from me. I just want to add that little bit of depth and drama that I love so much. Okay, so for all over the lid, we have some options, and I'm leaning towards this really pretty purple shimmer shade right here, but I want to see what this shade is going to look like when I swatch it out. So I'm going to go ahead and dig my finger in here and see what this is going to do. Oh my gosh, that is so incredibly beautiful. I think this is the one that's going all over my lid. Like, look at all that shift and that sparkle. It is so incredibly beautiful. Yep, we have a winner. I don't even need to swatch out the other shade. We're going in with that one, and it's called Snow Globe. So I am going to find my brush, which is around here somewhere. Alright, I found my BK Beauty 203 brush, so I went ahead and picked up that shade, sprayed it just a little bit, and we're going to press this all over the lid, and I'm going to bring it over to the inner corner, but I think I'm going to leave that inner corner matte, and I'm just going to kind of make sure this is nice and blended, picking up more if I need to do so. And then we may need to go in with a darker shade just to kind of blend everything out here, but that is such a beautiful shade. Depending on where you swirl your brush in is going to depend on how much reflect you have of which shade, because it's got like that pink and that blue and that gold in there, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. This is going on nice and smooth. I'm not getting any fallout. I don't feel like it's emphasizing the texture on my lid or anything. I just think that looks stunning. I think that shade blended in really nicely to the matte on the outer corner, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the lid where it is and go ahead and finish up this look with liner and mascara, and I'll be back to show you the completed first look. Alright y'all, so this is the first completed look with this palette. I think this turned out so beautiful. I love purple eyeshadow, especially a true purple that doesn't lean too warm or too cool. I think it looks beautiful in my eyes, and I really love the way this turned out. The mattes performed the way that I expected them to, and that multi-chrome all over the lid is so incredibly beautiful. It's shifty, it's reflective, it is very smooth. It does pick up a little chunky with the brush, but it does smooth out really nicely. But if you want to make sure that you're going to get the smoothest application possible, I definitely suggest going in with your finger or even one of those little silicone applicators. I've never tried that method before. I'm planning on it eventually, but I've heard that it picks up those kind of shimmers really well and just smooths them on the lid. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down, see the shimmer, the shift, the sparkle, and then move on to our second look with this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a NYX Epic Wear liner. This is in the shade Fierce Purple. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner, and for mascara, I went in with my Essence Lash Princess False Effect Waterproof Mascara. Alright y'all, so for our second look with this palette, I want to play with like this really pretty green right here and maybe incorporate like this plum and this really pretty dusty pink down here. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually start with this green shade right here. This one is called Winter Green. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up with, let's go in with this one. This is a BK Beauty 212 brush, and I'm going to start by kind of putting this more so on the outer half of my lid, kind of blending it up into the crease, blending it out just a little bit right here, and just kind of really smoking out this outer corner of my lid, and then we'll kind of take it from there. I don't know exactly the direction I'm going to go with this look. I just know I want to play with these shades. So this is where we're going to start. I think I'm going to wrap this down onto my lower lash line as well, and then we'll move forward. Oh, this is such a pretty green. I'm telling you, I'm loving these muted pastel shades in here. They are so beautiful. Look at the pigmentation on that. Wow. So next I want to go into this really pretty dusty pink shade down here, which is called Frosted Kiss. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty EO3 brush, and I'm going to put this on the inner portion of my lid, just kind of bringing it over to the inner corner, but I'm not going to bring it into the inner corner. I think I want to do something else in there. I'm just going to bump it up to this green shade right here. So I'm just kind of packing the shade on. I don't want to start swiping because I don't want these shades to mud out. I don't want one to take over the other. I just want them to kind of blend together right there in the middle. And then I'm going to bring this down onto the rest of my lower lash line as well, once again meeting it up with that green shade. So I'm just kind of repeating everything that I did on my lid down on my lower lash line as well. That is so pretty. Oh, I love these muted tones. I just can't get over it. They're beautiful. Alright, so next we're going to go into kind of this plummy purple shade right here, which is called Thaw Out, and I'm going to deepen up my outer corner with that. So I'm going to pick it up with my Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just going to go right into the very outer portion of my lid. I don't want to bring this up too high. I don't want to bring it over too far. I just want to put it right there, and then once I have that shade down, I can start to kind of blend it and kind of make sure it fades into everything nicely. I'm not going to add too much depth to this look just because I want to keep this kind of light and wintry and airy and just kind of real fun. That's really pretty though. I'm loving this. I am going to bring it down to the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. And then once I have that down, we'll move on to our next shade. All right, so this might sound a little bit crazy, but it's makeup. It's supposed to be fun. It washes off. It's not a big deal. I want to take this mint green shade right here and put it on my inner corner. So that's exactly what we're going to do. That shade is called Snow Flurry. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO2 brush. And like I said, I'm just going to pop this right here on my inner corner. Just add that little bit of brightness. Oh my gosh, look at how pigmented that is. I wasn't expecting it to be that pigmented, but that is so beautiful and really fun on that inner corner. I'm just gonna kind of blend it up into the crease a little bit just so we don't have like a blob of this shade on the inner corner, since it is so bright and very contrasty. I'm just gonna kind of marry it down onto the lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping it around. I need to clean that up a little bit. I picked up too much on my brush when I went in on this first eye, but that's okay. Not a big deal. So for all over the lid, I think I want to go into this really pretty shifty shimmer shade over here. It's got like this gold to green flip to it. It looks very antique-y, and I think it's going to look beautiful all over the lid. So let's go ahead and do a swatch on the back of my hand really quick. Oh my gosh. Look at how gorgeous. That was so incredibly smooth and like just smooth feeling. I don't even know how to describe it. It just felt gorgeous when I picked it up. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my BK Beauty 203 brush. I have already primed my eyes with my NYX glitter primer per usual, and we're going to spray this and put it all over the lid. I just think this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving the way this shade looks. So I just went ahead and picked it up, and I'm going to start by pressing it all over my lid, and then I'll go back in with a little bit more so I can build up the intensity. Yeah, that is really pretty, but let's pick up a little bit more of this shade. There we go. Oh, that is so beautiful. I am going to bring it over to the inner corner, but I'm not going to bring it into the inner corner. I can't decide if I want to leave this inner corner matte as well. I've really been enjoying a matte inner corner lately. But yeah, I think we're going to leave it matte, and we're just going to give this shade its time to shine and just kind of keep this very light, very airy, very muted pastel. And this is going to be our completed look, and I think this one turned out so pretty. It's fun, it's colorful, but it's still very soft and muted, and I really love that duochrome on the lid. It's just so smooth and shifty. I'm loving the shimmers in this palette. They are incredibly beautiful. But let's go over what I used to finish off this look so we can turn down the lights one more time and see the shimmer shift the sparkle, and then we will close out this video with my first initial impression thoughts on this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with one of these shadow sticks from About Face. This is a pearly one in the shade Baroque. It's this really pretty pink shade. And then I lined my lid once again with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Essence Waterproof Lash Princess mascara. Y'all, I really like this palette. I've had such a good time playing with it. I love every single look that I've created with this one, and I think it's just a very fun, creative, unique color story for a winter palette. I love the more muted tones in here, but you also have some fun, bright pops of color. You have a lot of depth in this palette, and I think the matte formula in here is incredible. I didn't have any issues performance-wise. They all built up beautifully on the lid. They blended out really nicely. I didn't get any patching, skipping, or fallout, and they're very soft and silky to the touch. I really like the pigmentation in here, and I think they performed beautifully. But the shimmers in this palette, y'all, I know I've already gone on and on about them, but they are so insanely shifty, reflective, and beautiful. They are very smooth and silky to the touch. They almost have like that putty-like feeling to them. And this shade right here, which I did use in my look for my short, you'll see that one later on this week, but this is the most beautiful silver holochrome. It is stunning on the lid. Now these shimmers in here do pick up a little bit more on the chunky side, like I said, but they smooth out just beautifully on the lid. I don't have any issues as far as like accentuating texture or anything like that goes, and I personally have never experienced creasing with my Gourmande Girls shimmer shades, but I always go in with a NYX glitter primer and I spray my brush with my MAC Fix Plus just to kind of lock everything in place. I have very oily eyelids, so I have to make sure that they're going to stay where I put them, but I've really been enjoying this. I think it's beautiful. I think it's fun. This may be one of my favorite color stories from the brand. I don't know. They've released so many good ones this this year. I still absolutely love the Nueva Vida palette that they did in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash. That one's just a favorite and I love it. But this one is incredibly beautiful. Like I said, it comes out December 6th. I don't know what time it'll be down in the description box, but let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you plan on picking this one up. Which look was your favorite? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation right at that comment section. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.